GarageBand?
It is Logic.
Logic. Oh, Logic always looks like GarageBand.
It looks exactly like GarageBand. You're right. That's how I started, was on GarageBand. And eventually I was like, I think I can pay the $200, the one-time fee to get Logic. But Ableton and all that, it's like a monthly thing.
Really?
I think. At least, maybe not all of them are, but I feel like Pro Tools, I don't know, I'm speaking out of my ass right now. But I feel like some of them you do have to pay for, like Photoshop, you have to pay $10 a month, $20 a month, something.
I just got my first Mac, and I like knew how to use GarageBand on a PC.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue how to operate GarageBand on a Mac.
Really?
Yeah.
So what were you doing on PC? GarageBand?
Sometimes. I mean, I really don't ever record myself except my phone notes.
Right.
But,
so you're just messing around?
But I was like, now that I have a Mac, I'm going to download GarageBand and try to do this. And I have no clue how to use it.
It's kind of tough, honestly, at first. It's very confusing, but that's how I feel when I look at, like, when Tommy's recording. And, like, he's moving, like, 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I can't even keep up with every little thing he's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you just had a little session in the studio today. Anna Kellam here joining me on That Note podcast. We're rolling. Thank you for coming in after 8 to 10 hours of just doing straight vocals.
Yeah, we started at 11 and we ended at 9:30. So
crazy.
11 and 10. I don't know math anymore.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a lot of hours. How does it feel? How are your nodes, your vocal cords?
I think they're good. I did a lot of breath support today. I could feel it in my
That's
core.
good.
I got a core workout while recording,
Hell yeah. Do you have a vocal routine? Because I am really bad about doing vocal warm-ups.
Oh, absolutely not. I have no vocal routine. When I go to sing something, I'll remember musical theater and do weird things like stand on one leg and stuff like that.
Pretend to be like an animal.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that?
Maybe. I think so. At some point. I mean, I played a spider in a show once, so I have pretended to be an animal.
What show?
It was Sleeping Beauty. I played a lot of animals in theater as a kid.
I didn't know you did theater. I was a theater kid as well.
That makes sense.
It does? I feel like theater gives a lot of musicians, actors, or any creatives just an opportunity to be weird in middle school, Were you doing it in middle school or high school? Or earlier?
Fourth grade through
fourth grade.
All of high school.
Nice.
So
what was your favorite production that you were in?
There was a play called Almost Maine I really liked.
Yeah.
And I really love Seussical the musical. I actually did
Seussical, yeah.
I actually did a version of Seussical as an adult a couple years back.
No way.
Yeah, I went back to the theater I grew up in, and I was the sour kangaroo, which was different for me because, growing up, I always had the sweet roles and, the roles where you didn't need much acting skills because I'm not great at acting. And then I went back as an adult, and they cast me as sour kangaroo, and I was like, what the heck? And then, and then I was, around a bunch of kids. There was, adults in the show, too. It was a community theater thing. But I was
That's cool.
I have to give it my all because you can't be an adult
in
a play being I'm scared because then you just look dumb. So then I was okay, I have to just go for it. And it was a lot. It was fun. I liked it a
and
lot.
if you're the one, if you're the adult in the crew or the cast and there's other kids and you're not stepping up, you don't want to be shown up by a seventh grader.
Yeah.
You want to bring it.
Oh, I was definitely shown off by some seventh graders or my little kangaroo. Baby kangaroo. Oh, her name was Serafina, and she was fierce. She was showing me up every single day.
Shout out to Serafina for bringing the magic.
Yeah.
The theater was a great place. I really loved doing it at the time I did, but it felt like a great, a safe space to just be weird with your friends.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when you're in school, for me at least, I went to the same school my whole life. So all those kids knew me, and you don't have a chance to be a new person almost. And then you can go to something like a theater camp and everyone's weird and you can just be weird with all the permission. And I don't know. talking about it now makes me very nostalgic for it.
Maybe you should go do some community
Maybe
theater.
I should go do some community theater, but maybe not. I feel like that time has passed. But thank you again for coming on the show. I'm really excited to talk about all of your music, your new EP, Fetch, which is out now. Everybody can go listen to it. Actually, you put it out on my birthday. Did you know that?
Well, it was a birthday gift only.
It really was. I know, it was beautiful. I listened to it on like my road trip that day. And it was very nice. I love all the tunes. I've gotten to hear a few of them before they were out. Mm-hmm. So it was cool to be able to see it on Spotify and say that I heard it before everyone else. But I really do. I love the songs, and it is your first EP ever, right? Yes. But it feels like you've been doing music for a long time. So what was it like putting this out, having been involved in the music industry for a while?
I'm like still kind of new to everything. Like I wrote a few songs when I was 18, but I didn't pick music back up until I was 22, almost 23. Mm-hmm. I'm 25 now. So everything like writing, recording, and even working in the music industry has been like happened after COVID.
Gotcha.
So it's been like 2022.
What brought you back?
I don't know, just life. Well, actually there's a funny story. I was playing an open mic and I was just playing like songs that I wrote when I was 18, and this music festival owner in Savannah that owned the festival was called Savannah Stopover. She came and she was like, I want you to play Stopover, and I was like, haha, yeah, right. Oh my God.
What was that?
That was my phone.
Okay. It's all good.
But she was like, I want you to play the festival, and I was like, LOL, I'm not gonna do that. And then applications were due, and she was like, where's your application? And then got everyone on staff to text me.
Whoa.
I like sent a BS application, and they were like, congrats, you're playing Savannah Stopover.
They got you.
And I remember saying, I was like, I don't even have a set. And the owner, Kane, was like, you can write one. And then I opened for Quinn Christopherson. And yeah, it just kind of started there. Reached out to Tommy, recorded.
How did you hear about Tommy?
Through my friend named Chandler. She went to college at UGA, mm-hmm. and I think she lived behind Tommy at his old house. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just knew about him through her, which is crazy.
That's awesome that worked out. So is he the only producer you've worked with on recording your own songs?
Yes and no. He's the only one I've worked with that has like songs that are coming out right now. Mm-hmm. I have been working with a guy named Max Colbert on a song that I'm excited about. It's going to be on like the deluxe edition of the LP we're working on. The LP that you're working on. Is this officially announced? I guess so.
It is right now.
And then for my next project, I'm working with Tommy, but I'm also working with someone named Gusty. And I have plans to work with this guy named Andrew Sovine in the future.
Cool.
But mostly Tommy. Tommy's my right-hand man.
Tommy's the guy. He just knows what's up. He knows how to take those sounds that are in your head and just makes them a reality without you really even having to describe them too much.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like when I hear To Be Young, that song of yours, I'm like, all those little bleeps and bloops, I'm like, I know Tommy was just loving that shit.
Yeah. That was fun. That was my idea. I was like, Tommy, I want random bleepy bloops like Sylvanesto. And
he said, say less.
He said, say less. And he just put a patch on and we just randomly clicked it.
Perfect.
It was awesome.
And you wrote that song when you were 18?
Yes.
So was it weird recording it 5 years later? Like, how did you get back into that headspace?
It wasn't that weird recording it. I like feel very removed from that song in my present life. Like emotionally, I don't feel like a huge connection to it. Mm-hmm. But I still think it was a song that was a good rock song. And so I was like, I didn't have much material at that time and was like, hey, let's record this one. Mm-hmm. And it was fun because I was like, let's make it as fun and young as possible.
Yeah, very ironic. I love that one. And I love Run Run Baby. I love all the I mean, they're all great. The Run Run Baby and Dog Park might be my top two. I love Dog Park. And that was your first single, right?
Yes.
In January.
Yes.
Was it weird waiting like 9 months to put out 4 more. I mean, I know you did another single, but a whole EP 9 months later.
No, I just got way too busy. Yeah. I felt like I rushed releasing actually the EP, but
oh really?
But not because of the time. I just like felt like I didn't have time to like prepare shows and do things like that. But I did it and it's released and I'm playing shows at times.
I've seen a couple of your sets, and you told me that you'd only played, I mean, currently as we talk right now, what, like 9 or 10 shows?
Yeah, I've done like a few open mics, not counting those, but like actual gigs.
Right.
It's been Savannah Stopover, one I did years ago.
Athfest was what number for you? Because that was the first time I saw you.
2 in Savannah, 1 in Tennessee. Athfest was probably like 6.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Because you just have such a, especially with the full band, such a like a presence that you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, I haven't, and I still have no clue what I'm doing. But it's nice to hear that because I in my head, especially on stage with a full band, because for some reason I feel a little more comfortable by myself still, even though I watch back videos and I'm like, oh, that was not super tight. With a full band, I feel very uncomfortable.
Interesting. I feel like I'm the opposite. I like having backup, guys behind me to like help bring the songs to life. It's not all on me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you do have to relinquish control. If it's just you, you can control how it goes to a degree,
I think I'm also learning, like, what does it mean to be a band leader and how do you direct? Because, like, my first few band rehearsals, people would be like, what do you want? And I'd be like, I don't know, just play. So I'm like, had to learn to be like, which now having recordings has helped to be like, this is what the song sounds like.
Sure, yeah. If you don't have a reference, it's hard to like tell somebody what you want them to do because you might not even know.
Yeah.
So what have you learned from being, having to step up as a band leader, having to book your own shows, play these shows? Like, what has been some advice that if you could go back, a few months prior, what would you tell yourself? Like, do this.
Answer texts and emails every day.
Be responsive.
Be responsive.
That's a good practical one.
Yeah.
Any like mentality notes, like be in a certain sort of headspace?
Yeah, my one note, it's not like even a mentality, but it's don't watch the numbers.
Totally.
Because it'll get you bogged down. And like when numbers are good, they make you feel like not that much joy. They're just like, you're like, cool, I got cool numbers. But when they're bad, they can really bog you down.
Absolutely. I'm so guilty of going back and forth between wanting to not care at all because it's not even necessarily an accurate representation of like where you're at. And then being like, oh, but I do need to focus on it so that other people can see like that other people like this. And I don't know. It's like they're both right and they're both wrong at the same time. And I don't know. It's a constant battle trying to figure out what's the right thing to do with that.
Yeah. I guess like my better advice other than that, because that wasn't like great advice, is just to like learn to love releasing and doing music just for the love of it.
That is great advice. It's so easy to get caught up in the details of the numbers or just, feeling like you didn't give it your all, even though, like, I don't know, it's easy to assign worth to those numbers when the worth comes from how much did you put into this and how much love and energy did you give this that only you really know how much you put into it. You know?
And I feel like people who do make music understand how much work goes into making music, but like the average passerby doesn't know like, you spent like probably 20 hours in a studio per song. Yeah.
Plus your own money.
Yeah.
Like everything, But what has been some of like the most rewarding parts of releasing your music this year?
Yeah. I had a friend in college who was a best friend, who, when college ended, I like didn't mean to, but kind of ghost. And he was very hurt by it. And we hadn't talked in a while, and he like heard my single and reached out to me, and like we've reconnected that friendship based off of that. And that's probably been the sweetest thing of like getting to have that friendship back, which was really sweet.
That's beautiful. Music really does, so cheesy, but it brings people together.
Yeah.
That's good that, you know, he texted you and that you guys are reconnected now.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be really nice if that happened more often, you know, especially when it's something so personal that you're putting out.
Yeah, I've had so many people kind of enter the weird digital form of my life that I haven't talked to in years since I've released music. And that's been something that's really sweet and also a little strange because you're like, whoa, I haven't seen this person in 5 years. And now they're, now like we're Instagram friends again.
Yeah. Now they're like liking my stories.
Yeah.
It is really weird. There's like there's a category of friend that only exists online. Like everyone has a few people that they can think of that they've never met, probably never will meet, but communicate here and there through like DM or something. Yeah. It's like such an interesting connection to have with somebody, you know?
Yeah. It's also been like funny. What's been really sweet is just people I look up to that do music around me. Telling me they liked my music, which actually makes me want to go run and hide and like and like never like appear again, because it really scares me.
Just like when throw your phone across the room.
Or if it's in person too, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with this information, and then I like, it's just funny,
just like shut down a little bit.
I feel like it's like probably just something to do with imposter syndrome, but when someone I really look up to like says anything about my music or posts it on their story, I like kind of freak out inside and I'm like, what? That's not right.
Right. Yeah. It's weird. It can be so hard to just accept that other people do like your stuff or are complimentary of it. You know, we're so close to our own creation that it's hard to separate it from whatever our own opinions of it are. Whereas other people are hearing it for the first time and they're hearing it in its final form. And, you know, you've lived with these songs for years and you know all the flaws, you know all your flaws. They don't know any of these things. So it's so hard to maybe take that compliment. But if we can be grateful, just be grateful, say thank you. And I feel like that goes a long way. In its own, you know, but I totally feel that like, what do you call it? Imposter syndrome, you know? Yeah.
It's just easy to feel, but.
Absolutely. What were some of the challenges that you had to go through during recording this EP, whether that be like practical challenges, you know, logistical or even mentally and emotionally?
Getting to Athens.
Yeah, true. So you're based in Savannah, correct? But you're no. But
I'm Athens, Nashville based now, but I don't have rent anywhere.
Okay, because that's what I thought. I was like, when I met you, you were like, I don't really live somewhere. But then you were talking about Savannah a lot, so I was like, maybe she's
it's because I'm like born and raised from Savannah.
Okay.
But I gave up my rent like 18 months ago.
Nice.
So
you're living on the road.
Living on the road.
In the van, the minivan.
Well, mostly like hotel rooms and buses and like Sprinter vans, but here in Nashville are like my bases. Anytime I'm off the road for any more than like 3 days, I end up here or in Nashville. But that's also because me and Tommy have recorded like 18 songs this year.
18? Whoa. I didn't know it was that many.
It's like 12 on the album, and I guess it's 17. It's 12 on the album and 5 on the EP.
Wow. So none of the EP songs are going to be on the album?
No. Well, not as of this moment.
Right.
Could change.
Damn, we got a whole like fresh LP coming soon.
Coming soonish.
Soonish. Don't get your hopes up too much. It's not next week, but yeah, do you have a projected day time frame?
Next year at some point. Yeah. And I think me and Tommy want to start second LP in February.
Yeah. Damn. You guys are crazy. I don't know how you have so many songs like written in the bank. Like I can barely get one every couple of months.
I'm on a huge writer's block right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't written a full song since May.
Oh, wow. Okay, so these are all older, not old, but
Yeah, and I have song ideas, but I feel like this happened with the LP one is like I had like 4 songs I hadn't finished. But then I was like, okay, I record next week. I have to finish them now.
mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of like how they came about.
So how do you know when a song feels right for the LP? Is it when it's done, or do you have songs that are done that you're like, I don't know?
Both.
Okay.
This like last LP, or I guess this LP we're working on is a lot of it's thematic.
Okay.
And then the next one is going to be more grouped sonically versus like the theme.
Okay. So sonically, I know it's thinking way ahead, second LP, but what are you interested in now that you feel like sonically that's the direction you're trying to go to?
It's going to be like a more stripped back album, the second one.
Okay.
I think this is what we've been talking about. Like Lomelda, early Alex G, like a little more
Speaking my language, I love Alex G.
A little more Americana based.
Okay.
This one that we're doing right now is like really lavish and like really cool arrangements and just like a lot of production. But then after I do the stripped back album, I want to do like a full like Holly Humberston like pop album.
I don't think I know. That name sounds familiar.
It's
it an
like
older artist?
Her producers on this new album that she just released is like Rob Milton and Ethan Gruska.
Okay.
So it's like kind of like 1975 meets Gracie Abrams meets Dijon is kind of like the production in it.
Sick. Whoa, what a combo.
Yeah.
I haven't really listened to Gracie Abrams too much. At all, actually.
I like Gracie Abrams a lot.
What kind of what's the vibe?
Moody.
Okay.
Moody, but just the production on it's really great, and her voice is like really enamoring.
Gotcha. When it comes to the studio and like being in the studio with Tommy, how have you felt like you've acclimated to like that environment? Because Tommy is like, in my experience, you can just let him go and he will just take the song where it's gonna take it. And you kind of have to like, he's like, you kind of got to be the co-pilot in a way, at least for me. But how does it feel for you when you're in the studio?
Yeah. This last stuff we've been working on, it's been really just like me, him, and our friend Hampton P, like all envisioning together. There has been like a couple times where Hampton and Tommy like work so well together, and I'm like, all right, write it back.
Right.
Right. But overall, I think me and Tommy have just like shared so much of a vision for this record, like, and just seen eye to eye. Especially like just laying out in pre-pro like the things we wanted in reference tracks, and just like once we figured that out, it's just been like pretty seamless since then.
Do you have a favorite part of the creative process, whether that be like the writing, the recording, the releasing, playing the shows?
It's not shows yet. I don't feel very comfortable
not yet,
performing
but you're
yet. I have a feeling one day I'll really love it. I really like the recording process. Specifically, I love doing BGVs.
Really?
That is my favorite.
Doing the background vocals, yeah.
My favorite part of recording is doing BGVs.
Interesting. Why?
I just love it.
Yeah.
I think I'm good at them, and I'm good at like, I don't know.
Do you hear them before you, like when you're writing, are you hearing the background vocals in your head?
Sometimes.
I feel like it'd be hard for me to hear more than like one harmony at a time. You know, it helps to like actually have the tracks playing for me to kind of hear what's supposed to be happening, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, who do you think has like stellar background vocals and harmonies that you look up to?
Oh, that's a good question. Samia. Oh my gosh.
I need to listen to her.
Her vocal takes that she does is crazy. She does really great background vocals.
Mm-hmm.
That Holly Humberston record is pretty insane with BGVs.
Okay.
I just watched a video that Tommy sent me recently of Billie Eilish, just in all of the whisper vocals she does.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I love seeing that one video where they show their studio that they made their first album on, like her and Phineas, and it's like their bedroom. Like literally, they won a Grammy from their bedroom studio. It's so small. It's like smaller than this room.
I feel like that's the direction that everything's taking, though, because like 10, 15 years ago, you had to be in a studio because no one else had Pro Tools except studios, and now it's like so much money is less in streaming and other avenues of music that you have to like find ways to do it more affordably, and so like you're gonna see more and more albums coming out of people's houses, and the production of that getting better and better.
Yeah, everything is becoming more widely available, which I think is awesome. And it's cool to see that since the internet has started, not only can you acquire all this equipment and basically turn your bedroom into a studio, but you can also gain inspiration from anything and everything because we're so interconnected. And sometimes that's incredibly overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's cool. Like, you can go down the most insane rabbit holes if you really want to. And you can come out of those rabbit holes with some sort of new inspiration from something you would have never thought you would have got,
Yeah, like I spent over 2 hours looking for a good sample of Kids on a Playground for one of my songs.
Oh my God.
And we ran a sample of like a German playground.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, it's now in 3 of the songs.
Something about the German one just
really it's like
hit.
that you can't understand the English, and so it just feels like a little more like distant and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But like that's something like rabbit hole of the internet that like I don't know how I would have gotten that otherwise, other than going to playgrounds and trying to take them. But if not, I could
that would have been a little off-putting probably.
I just got to go through sound samples on YouTube for like 2 hours till I found one I liked that was free to use.
There you go. Yeah, the YouTube to MP3 is also always the vibe.
Yeah.
But coming out of this EP, it's out. Everybody can go listen to it. You went through that process. What lessons did you learn from that you're taking with you into this LP?
I learned to not be as hard on myself when doing main vocals. I was like, that was an adjustment when I first started recording, was just like not being a perfectionist, because if you're not too hard on yourself about being a perfectionist, you can do 20 takes and not feel scared about it and then get the perfect take out of it.
Yeah. Not to mention comping.
Yeah.
Is so helpful.
Comping is so helpful. It saves my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like I'm like, the EP taught me a lot about like how to think about things approaching it. Like now I like think of songs and like what instruments more I would want, and like ways that I would have never thought of, and just like thinking of my song in relation to other music and how it fits, and just also just listening to music now that I've recorded music and worked with Tommy, and like being able to be like, man, the tone of that snare drum is pretty sick. And that's like drums are nothing that I've ever focused on. But now that I record my own music, I like feel like I have a more understanding of how music works together.
Totally. Is there a band that, or an artist who, now that you've kind of had that experience, you have an extra bit of appreciation for having gone through the process of recording?
Yeah.
That's kind of a weird question.
Yeah, no, it's okay. There's an artist named Ray right now that she's a
Ray right now or Ray?
Ray.
Okay.
R-A-Y-E.
I was like, Ray right now. That's kind of a sick name, actually.
She's like a British artist, and I just think her production's crazy and her vocals are crazy, and she's a producer, I believe, on almost all of her stuff. She has other producers, but I believe that she has a producer credit, and I just think that she's like insanely talented. Same with Dijon.
Dijon rules. And you got to like, be around him, right, for a while. For the or didn't you go to Nashville and?
Yeah, I like saw him at a bar with some mutual friends,
Mm-hmm.
but not like hang out with him. Just
Got you.
a quick run in.
But you got to see his set?
Yeah.
Nice. How was it?
It was good. It was insane.
I saw not his reset show, but when he opened for Bon Iver, and it was like unbelievable. Him and McGee together is such a dream team.
Yeah.
They get some of like the most insane sounds. And I also love that when they're playing live, it's almost like a moving organism. It's barely a set. It's just this constantly changing vibe happening. I don't know. I feel like that could be where a lot of musicians start to go towards, because now like Ryan Beatty's doing something like that.
Yeah. I said this like when I first heard McGee's music and like heard his name coming up more. My friend Rosie went to college with McGee.
Oh, wow.
And I was like talking about him to her, and she was like, "That's crazy that you know him." And I was like, "Yeah, I think he's going to be one of the most influential names into like how recording for guitar is for our generation of music for the next 10 years."
Mm-hmm.
And I do think like Dijon and McGee and like the 1975 are going to have so much of an influence on how production is for the next bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. Especially the 1975 has a chokehold on culture right now. It's crazy to think.
Yeah.
I've told this on the podcast before, but I saw them opening for The Neighborhood in like 2014.
Yeah, I think I also saw them opening for The Neighborhood.
Oh, sick.
For like a Jacksonville small festival. And then the next time I saw them was a 300 cap in Charleston, South Carolina.
Whoa, that's crazy. And were they headlining that?
Yeah.
Wow. Damn, so you were in there pretty early.
Yeah, I got Chocolate as the free Apple single freshman year of high school.
Dude. I thought I had cred. That's even more.
Yeah.
To have the free Apple download of Chocolate. That song ruled. My friends all made fun of me for really liking them.
Yeah.
That and Sex. Sex was great. That whole EP, The City.
Yeah, I did what was it called? Vine. I did a Vine cover of Sex, but I was like still kind of like super involved in the church. So instead of saying like saying the profanity, I was like, we might as well make love and would like make it sweeter or something.
Right. That's tough. That's tough to censor that one.
Yeah.
Such a great band though. Shout out to the 1975. I wish I got to see them on this on their tour now, because I feel like it would have been such a cool experience to have seen them in like the smallest rooms. Like I saw them at Center Stage.
Whoa.
Like that's when they opened for The Neighborhood, was at Center Stage, and nobody really knew them. And I'm kicking myself because I did buy a shirt from them, but I bought it before they played, but they were there after, like chatting with people, and I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, had I known they were going to be the biggest band in the world in 2023, I would have gone up and said something.
Yeah.
But Matty Healy had such intimidating hair, I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, I think I told a couple of them nice set, but like I was at the age of like, and I think I still am kind of this way, but I like had this thing of like I watched someone speak in an interview about like no one ever tells you that you have a nice set. They just ask for a picture and an autograph after.
Damn.
And so I like made it a point like in high school where I was like, I'm just going to tell everyone after their set, like I just wanted to say like, great job. How did you feel about it?
That's a big one.
And then just like would leave, which they probably were also like, why is this 15-year-old kid just like
why is she so mature
and leaving? No, they probably didn't even think that. They were probably just like, I'm just here to sign things. Like,
right.
I don't care.
That's awesome. Just asking them how it was and then promptly leaving.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, I was going to tell you, but I guess not. That's funny. Back to the EP. I'm just curious for you personally, now that, you've had some time to sit with these tunes. Do you have one that you can say is your favorite?
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
They all hold different spots for me. Recently, I've been really liking September.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like one I didn't give any thought into. And like the piano and main vocal is like a one take.
Wow.
And then we did the harmonies in 30 minutes. Me and Tommy did that entire thing in less than an hour.
Wow.
The only thing, like I said, to speed up the harmonics from the piano into the tempo of the next song, and that was like really our only major production thing that we did.
Yeah, I love how that transitions so well into To Be Young.
Yeah, me too. I was really proud of myself on that one.
Yeah, when you nail something that's like intentional like that, it feels so good.
Yeah. And so I just love the lyrics in that, just the I'd forgive and then forget and then forgive. And I don't know, I've like, that's the first song I've released that's like every song in that EP has to do somewhat with my mom, but that's like a first song that's like just about my mom.
Right.
And I like this next record, most of it, like 75% of it centers my mom. And so I feel like September is like the jumping page for this next record.
Gotcha. There always seems to be one song within a project that is kind of an indicator of what the next one is going to be like in some way, to me at least. You can see those stepping stones. You're like, oh, that was probably later in that album's recording process, and then they just followed that vibe into the next one, you know?
Sonically, my next album's not like September, but thematically...
What would you say it's more like on, one of those songs on the EP?
The next project is very, very different.
Okay.
So I have one song that's a lot like Dog Park, and I have one song that's a lot like Rust, and I have one song that would be kind of like Nothing's Like To Be Young, but it's like the first song is kind of like ethereal, Sylvanesso. Second song is like Big Thief meets Maggie Rogers was our reference tracks. Third song is like a Dog Park style song. Fourth song is kind of like a Letha Ross song. Fifth song is like Wednesday, Predel Steel. And then there was like a full orchestra song in the middle. Whoa. So it's just like a lot of just different sounds, but I wanted it to be that way. I wanted it to be like most of the songs are in similar keys and in similar beats per minute and stuff like that. And I was like, I want these to like all draw from different examples and to like mimic the vibe of the song.
Were you working with Annie Leith for the orchestra?
Yes, she did the strings. Ben Hackett's doing woodwinds. I have a horn player from Nashville.
Damn, you got it all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're like just like splicing it and doing all these things.
Right. What's it like working with session musicians specifically for things like strings or more like orchestral types? Because I feel like that's like a stranger thing to try to communicate, at least for me, coming from more of an indie rock background, I don't know how to read music that well. So trying to communicate with someone in that realm can be kind of tough. How is it for you?
Well, when we did Rust with Annie, it was awesome. She came in, and I was like, here, I want the strings to build. And she like played something. I was like, yes, exactly like that. And then we asked for like the spooky seagull strings and like did like 4 takes of them. And then there's like the sharp notes that are like 16th notes that are like da 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 da. And I like sang it to her and I was like, this is what I want. And then she also did like a lot of first instincts that are things I wouldn't have thought of.
That's the best.
But that's with session musicians, I've always had the best experience because their first instincts are normally like what the song needs anyway.
Yeah, and it's nice to get a fresh perspective on something that you've been living with for a long time.
Yeah.
They end up seeing or hearing something that you never would have heard. And then once they share that one thing, it's like a whole door opens up for you or your perspective of what the song really could be. Like
Run Run Baby would be nothing of a song that it is without Annie's strings on it. And like, I didn't know exactly what I pictured for strings on that song. I just knew I thought strings would build it. And when I like listened through it, I'm like, whoa,
crazy.
This is wild.
Yeah. Annie did some strings for me on a new track. And I'm like, it blows me away that, one person can change the vibe of a song so much. And, she's just doing one violin part at a time, and it sounds so ethereal.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
She's insane.
How do you feel like, this could be our last question before we move on to the last 5? I know we're getting late here, but how do you feel like you've progressed as a singer-songwriter over the last few years? And what would you like to really work on as you keep going?
That's a great question. I think I've gotten better at like wordplay.
Mm-hmm.
And like being intentional with the words I use and things like that, or like thinking more critically in a song. Things I would like to get better at are like focusing on song structure and like also just being disciplined in writing. I know a lot of my friends do like the artist way thing where they do their morning pages and practice their writing, but I write a lot when it comes to me, but I don't like discipline myself to like force myself to write every day. And I think learning to like practice and discipline myself in writing would be really cool.
Yeah, I feel like we all in a way feel like we can get better at the discipline aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's so humbling when you're sitting down for like 20 minutes, not even, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. And you're like, why haven't I already wrote the beginnings of like my next favorite song, you know? And it's like, you got to be patient, but it can be tough to sit with that feeling of like, oh, this is not going the way I was hoping it would for more than 5 to 10 minutes, you know? But if you can, to me, what helps maybe is like just giving yourself permission to like not write something good and just like, or write something terrible and just try to finish it just to see if you can do it, you know?
Yeah.
And just to say you've done something for the day, but even that can be kind of daunting, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely love your lyricism, especially the Dog Park, like Run Run Baby. They all put you in a place, you know? They're not beating around the bush, being too like fluffy. Sometimes I think it can be a little too easy for me maybe to approach a song from more of a vague standpoint. I feel like you're very specific. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm like scared writing moving forward because I've written about like a few specific things and now I'm like, I don't know what to write about anymore.
Right.
I also think like I wasn't an English kid and I don't journal. So songwriting is like the only way I like kind of do writing.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And I feel like a lot of people like loved English and loved poetry writing and loved writing stories. And for me, that just was not part of my hardwiring as a kid. I was a math kid.
Really?
Which is why it was embarrassing that I could not even figure out the amount of hours I learned. But
that's okay.
So I think some of my lyrics end up being pretty straightforward, even though there are poetry and imagery in them, because I just like, I don't know really like, I don't know if I could even tell you what an allegory is, but I think that's the word that I'm supposed to use. I know what a metaphor is, but then Tommy will come to me and be like, this like grammar isn't correct. And I'll be like,
oh, funny.
Yeah. And I'll be like, well, and I'll be like, what do you mean it's not correct? And be like, well, this means this. And he was like, I'm just telling you I hear it this way. And I'm like, and then I'll like listen to it for a day. And I'm like, okay, so we can change it. But
I hate when they make a good point.
I think that's why some of my lyrics end up like a little more specific and stuff like that, because I don't really know the skills to hide behind for it. Yeah.
So that's, you know, double-edged sword there. Some people say that learning a lot of music theory can be detrimental because it's almost like you don't just feel it out, man. And I don't know if that, now that I'm like trying to like actively get better at music theory, I'm like, I don't know, it just kind of opens up a lot of doors for you. But I do see what you mean. It's almost like something that could be seen as a detriment is actually something that really creates this uniqueness in your songwriting or in your voice or what have you, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's take this over to the last 5. Actually, before we do so, we never talked about our 2 albums that we picked.
Yes.
We picked 2. Usually we do 1, but we were like, you know what? Let's go for the double, especially because Our homie.
Oh no.
That's okay.
Yeah, we did the double for the homie, and also because I'm just indecisive. I'm like the person that always has to have like 4 beverages at one time.
I feel that, yeah. But we got Hometown Vampire, Elijah Johnson. That album came out October 6th, and go check out Elijah's episode. It was literally the last one we did, so this is very fitting you picked his album.
Yes, I love this record, and I told Elijah that it could be a Harry Styles record. Just he has some rock bangers and some really great songs with pop sensibilities, like 8 a.m. I was like, the second I heard it, I was like, this could be a Harry Styles song. I think that he is one of the most brilliant songwriters I get to know. He played bass on my EP.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. And we've played a couple shows together, and I just love him a lot. A fun story about Fifth Beatle is he wrote that song about the night I actually met Tommy and Elijah. And they were playing a show in Savannah, and Tommy was wearing a pea coat. And our now friend, at the time, like good friend of all of ours, his name is Mason. He was talking about Tommy and didn't know Tommy, and he was like, who's this guy, thinking he's like Paul McCartney? And Elijah overheard it, and so that was like the inspiration for Fifth Beatle.
That's sick.
But it was the day that I met both of them, and they were such a huge part in me creating my EP, and I'm just so proud of Elijah for this record, so I wanted to pick this one.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the homie. That album really is awesome. So if you haven't listened to it, go check it out. Hometown Vampire, Elijah Johnson. And then the other album you picked, The Front Bottoms.
It is my high school album, so I had to do it. There's a really funny meme that's like, you either have a front bottoms X or you are the front bottoms X. And I just always have that in the back of my head.
That's
and I
awesome.
Definitely was the front bottoms X.
You're the front bottoms X.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's a band that I just kind of missed the boat on.
Yeah.
They're a little more like, are they pop punk leaning?
Yes. Like, I never listened to modern baseball, and
neither did I.
But like, I heard a modern baseball song, and if you listen to them, they're kind of like that.
Okay.
But like this is a funny story, and I'm giving a leak, and it's fine. There's a song on my LP that's called Whatever Forever, and I like brought it to Tommy, and he was like, "Is this like a ode to modern baseball?" And I was like, "No, what's modern baseball?" And then know. My master engineer was in modern baseball.
Whoa.
And I didn't like really know this ever. He's in Slaughter Beach Dog too, but I like.
Whoa, what the fuck? Isn't that like the Mount Rushmore of emo music, basically?
I don't know.
Does Tommy know this?
Well, Tommy loves both bands. I love Slaughter Beach Dog, but I didn't listen to them until Ian.
Okay, I've never listened to them.
Yeah, their new record's insane too, and there's like a really beautiful song where Aaron Ray features on vocals, and Ian's just one of the kindest people I've like met through the internet. And
Ian's the mastering engineer?
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I like messaged him and was like, "Hey, I've never listened to modern baseball, but I have a song called Whatever Forever." That was like, didn't know you had a song called it, and he just got a good laugh out of it.
That is awesome.
But front bottoms were apparently in that era of that style of music, like pop punk, and I love the front bottoms so much.
Sick. Well, I'll have to check both of them out, because I did hear that Slaughterhouse or what is it? Slaughter Beach Dog?
Slaughter Beach Dog.
They put out an album recently, and I have a few friends that have said it's great.
It's so good.
I missed the train, but maybe it's not too late for me.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can hop on it. But let's take this over to the last 5, Anna.
What is the last 5?
You're just going to pick out 5 pieces of paper that all have questions written on them from this bowl here and answer accordingly.
All right.
Please don't rip the pieces of paper. I have a lot of guests do that because they're just fidgeting, and then I have to rewrite them. Number 1.
Do I?
a big sigh. Uh-oh.
It's because I'm bad at decisions.
What is it? This is going to be a tough section for you. Then I'm just going to warn you.
Oh no.
I'll help you though. I'll help you. It's okay.
Dream 3 band Bill.
This is a tough one to start with.
Man, that is tough.
For clarity's sake, when I wrote that, I meant like 3 band bill that you would want to go see. Some people take it as like a 3 band bill they want to be a part of. But whatever's easier, maybe that you would, or whichever one you want to answer, you can just do that one.
Okay. That I would now I have another decision. Which
you
one
can just pick one. You can just pick one. You
review
don't have to do
right
both.
Oh gosh. Okay. Dream 3 band Bill. Let's go a little wild.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say I've been obsessed with Ray recently.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it female.
Let's go.
I think. So let's do like multi-genre female badass lineup.
Nice.
Am I allowed to say ass on here?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Say ass as much as you want.
I've been like censoring myself from cussing because I've been like, I don't know what I could say. And like you did cuss at the beginning, but it was like the first sentence, so I wasn't sure if you're gonna cut it off.
Oh, no. Yeah, you can cuss.
Great.
For sure. This is not family friendly necessarily.
Ray is on the lineup.
Okay.
Raye. Let's do another awesome female. Oh, this would be sick. Let's do Faye Webster, Ray,
Hell yeah.
and Wednesday.
Yeah. Did you see that? Oh, no, they didn't come. It was MJ Linderman. But, she tours with him.
I've got to work a couple shows with MJ with one of the artists I work for.
Oh, sick.
Which has been fun. But I will see Wednesday this weekend because we're playing, not me personally, but one of the artists I work for is playing a music festival with her.
That album they put out was phenomenal.
Yeah. It took me a minute to get into it because I would like try to listen to it, but when I normally wanted like soft songwriter music.
Yeah, that's
and then I'd be like, why are you screaming at me?
Yeah.
And then once I finally got to like listen to it and love it, I was obsessed with it.
Yeah, Hot Rotten Grass Smell. Love that song. All right, number 2.
2 artists you want to see collab. Oh my gosh.
2 artists that are going to make album of the year, you think? They come together and join forces.
Okay, can I say something that might be cheating?
Yeah, sure.
Are they already collabing?
I don't know.
I have 2 friends that make insane music.
Uh-huh.
And they have been slightly working together. And I don't know if they have anything in the works, but I just can't wait to hear it if they ever do. And their names are Delaney Esper and Max Halgamo.
Okay.
And I just think that them together would make an insane collab album if they ever decided to do that.
So those are their like respective solo project names. Okay. So everybody go check it out. What were the names?
Max Halgamo.
Max Halgamo. How do you spell that?
I think that's how it's pronounced. I booked a tour for him one time and I don't know. Helgemo.
Okay.
And then Laney Esper, Laneyesper.
Nice. Sick. I'll go check them out. All right, number 3. We're getting through them. We're doing good. Oh, she said nope. Here, we'll take that. Put it in the discard pile. Never happened. Damn, you're picking some tough ones.
Okay. This one, I won't put it back.
We got 2 discards.
Dream artist or producer to work with.
This is a good one.
Tommy is one.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, genuinely.
Yeah, for real.
I
like,
love
no
Well
joke.
Dream artist or producer to work with. I think it would be really fun to do. My favorite band in high school was a band called Shovels and Rope.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd be really fun to do a song where they do BGBs.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And don't you tour with them?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's such a cool dream come true for them to be such a huge band for you in high school.
Yeah, it was wild. It was my first touring job. And it was just like someone was like, I need someone now. And I was like, cool, who's the band? And they're like Shovels and Rope. And I was like, hi. I hadn't listened to them until then, but they are some of the best people I've ever met.
That's
and,
awesome.
Like, couldn't ask for a better team to be a part of some of the time.
Hell yeah. Shout out Shovels and Rope.
So it would be like a whole fruition. Like Mike also produces to do like one song with them just because They were my favorite band in high school.
It'd be so full circle.
It'd be a really fun full circle moment.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
All right, question number 4. Number 4.
This one's torn, and that's part of the torn.
Dude, who did this?
I already answered that one earlier. 3 desert island albums. Keaton Henson. Oh my gosh, what is it called? It's this album that has like a paint. Kindly Now.
Keaton Henson.
Yes, insane album, has orchestrations, is like so good. Dijon, absolutely.
Yes. Love that album.
3rd album would be, right now I'm really into that Boyhood Japanese House.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like a few of their songs. I haven't been able to like really dive in to them. But okay, I'm going to save this Keaton Henson album for later. All right,
I'm just going to go through all these questions.
This is a first here on the note.
Find one that I want to answer.
She's scavenging for the perfect last question.
Song I Wish I Wrote.
That's a good one. I like that one.
There's a song by Macho Planet. It's going to take me a second to like figure out the name of it real quick.
Okay.
So I've knocked the Captain Morgan down. I don't care if it's the new year. I don't want anyone else around. Oh my gosh, what is it called? Can I look at my phone?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I just looked at my phone to make sure that I saved that Keaton Henson album.
It's an insane album. It's like a huge influence for me. By the sky would open up like a zipper. It's like so brilliant. Macho Planet's this really brilliant Nashville artist. Beaches in Texas.
Beaches in Texas.
It's by Macho Planet.
Cool. I'll listen to it and imagine that you wrote it.
Yes. I would love if I wrote that or wrote any song that Macho Planet has ever wrote. He is genuinely probably one of the most brilliant songwriters ever.
Damn. That's quite the compliment.
Yeah. I also love like there's a song by Ernest Tubb called Sometimes I Do. It's an old country song and it's like one of his lesser known country songs, but it's like awesome. It's just like, sometimes I feel like drinking, sometimes I do. And I wish I could just write something really witty and like a funny old classic country song.
I feel that, dude. Country lyrics, they know what they're doing. They get to the point.
That tongue is in their cheek.
Yes, exactly. It stays in their cheek. Anna Kellam, that's going to wrap us up for our episode of On That Note. Thank you for coming through after doing, 10 hours of vocals and then, talking with me for like an hour.
Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this since I met you.
Me too. Yeah, I'm glad we finally got it in. We'll have you in again for the album when that comes out eventually. Everybody go listen to Fetch in the meantime. Get your Anna Kellam fix. That EP rocks.
Wasn't that a well-capped record in the meantime?
Wasn't that a title? That sounds like it. I think so.
wait. I got to look it up.
Now we got to confirm this.
Yeah. It wasn't meant to happen, but I think it did. While you're at it, listen to Well Kept.
Yeah, true.
And this Elijah record.
Exactly. We're shouting out all the homies.
In the meantime, it wasn't a well-kept album.
Nice.
In the meantime, listen to In the Meantime.
That's right.
After you listen to Fetch.
Exactly.
And then after that, listen to Hometown Vampire.
All of the homies records.
All of the homies.
Awesome. Anna, thank you again for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
Talk later.
So I powder my nose.
Thank you again for tuning into the newest episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. Remember, not only can you listen to the episodes on Apple Podcast and Spotify, but you can also watch the episodes on my YouTube channel, which is linked in the description below. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time.